It's been a dizzying 72 hours news cycle in a year when it seems every hour brings something new. Still, this stands out. Despite saying he would not declare victory before all the votes were counted, President Trump did precisely that, and worse, even as he faced the brink of defeat. During his live news conference, perfectly timed to interrupt the network news, President Trump claimed that late votes were fraudulent and that he won the election.
If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
That fact-free diatribe went on for 17 minutes. NBC and CBS both cut away.
Do you have a fact check?
We don't have any indication that there are any substantive number of illegal votes out there.
The cables stuck with it, but fact-checked right after.
This isn't just partisan. This isn't just dangerous. It's nonsensical.
It was a moment not unlike the wee hours of Wednesday morning when the president took to the airwaves to declare victory.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
The networks were all prepared for his baseless claim. At NBC, they cut in.
We got to dip in here because there have been several statements that are just frankly not true.
And on Fox News, Chris Wallace did not mince words.
This is an extremely flammable situation, and the president just threw a match into it.
With virtually no one supporting the president's claims, this may come to check and mate. Well, Jon Keller, have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, I was so dumbfounded last night. I was watching one of the network newses. I kept thinking, you got to cut away. They stuck with it for 7 or 8 minutes, all of them. The cables went for the whole thing. I was screaming at the TV. I said, this is just unconscionable. It's wrong. It's journalistically unsound. And to put it in the middle of the newscast, he did it on purpose, and I guess they had to take some of it, but I thought it was astounding.
Well, I believe MSNBC bailed after 53 seconds or something like that, so it wasn't like they took a large chunk of it. I'm very conflicted about this, Emily. On the one hand, you almost got to carry this. This is not the normal Trump nonsense dump. It's a historical moment, and it really is a historical document of a sitting president melting down under the pressure of a humiliating defeat. So I thought CNN handled it best. They ran the whole 17 minutes. It's not like it went on for an hour. And then with a lower third chyron that they updated, basically saying this is bunk that he's saying. And then immediately afterward, they came in hard with fact-checking and deserved ridicule. On the other hand, I'm glad to see some spine being grown. Where was this spine last May, April, when Trump was holding 90-minute coronavirus briefings filled with misinformation and BS that actually killed people? That's when they should have been dumping out, not this.
I was also torn about whether networks should carry it, the whole thing as is, the way they did early on in the administration, or whether they should ignore it completely. I think the fact-checking in real time was important, but I also think it forces you to relitigate stuff over and over and over again and reprove stuff that's already true. So it felt like a bit of a waste of time. A good friend of mine pointed out he seems to be laying the groundwork for Trump TV, which may have been the point all along back in 2016. He was still campaigning, but this time it's not for votes, it's for audience members, and it's for customers.
I think I fall down on that sort of, torn between what networks should have done. On the one hand, you don't want to bury the depths to which the president has gone, right? I mean, yes, the information is out there. You can find the video anywhere. But for people to hear about it or to get a clip of it, I'm not sure you're getting the full impact as just watching it live. And so I do think that as difficult as it was to watch the president with these unfounded claims, I think it was important for viewers to see it from beginning to end. But I do applaud, those networks that dumped out, that were very heavy on fact checking. Even USA Today, they had their stream that they cut the stream very early and then took it a step further to scrub the video off of their site. These are unprecedented times which require unprecedented actions.
Personally, I'm a big fan, maybe because I don't have to execute this. Technically, I know it'd be tricky, but I'm a fan of pulling out and offering real-time commentary and fact-checking to the extent that you can, and then dipping back in as the speech continues. I agree this is a crucial and riveting historical document, but you don't need to stay with it in real time in a newscast to make access to it possible for future generations. The video is going to exist, and I think the stakes here are so high that hopping in, whether it's you're eliminating video or just killing his audio feed and overriding what he has to say, the stakes are so high that I don't think, personally, a simple Chiron fact check cuts it. That's my take.
On the other hand, Adam, it was so crazy time. I mean, I was manically screaming at the TV that you couldn't believe it was happening at the same time. The stuff he was saying, so I wanted somebody to be yelling back at him. What are you talking about? How can you say this when there's no evidence that what you're saying is true?
Oh, it's a completely surreal moment. I mean, we've all become inured to so much over the past 4 years, but this is like the crescendo to which we've been building all along. We'll see if it gets even weirder in the days to come. Who knows? It's hard to say right now, but I know exactly what you mean, Emily.
Mm-hmm. John, one more bite at that?
Well, I didn't get the memo now about what the new standards are for when we dump out on airing a politician's comments live that are palpably false or constitute egregious spin. What stays and what doesn't? I see politicians talking live on the air all the time and they're lying. At some point, it's a tough balance. I think that's what I hear everyone saying, and I agree with that. But I would say proceed with caution, particularly when it involves the President of the United States.